Brought to you by the Rugby Outlet Mall, equipping you for freedom and connection through rugby. Find out more at rugbyoutletmall.com.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Grow Rugby. My name is GiftTime Ebelu. It is another beautiful week, and we got another great podcast for you today. Our guest for today is coming out of Prairie View A&M, the HBCU, who has been part of our HBCU Rugby Classic. Recognize it. You guys can get it $25 on Rugby Outlet Mall. The shirt, for those who are just listening to the podcast, we got our HBCU Rugby Black Flag shirts. You can get them on the Rugby Outlet Mall just for $25. But we have a great guest, Matthew Provost, coming out of Prairie View A&M, like I said. The reason why we had him, because we had another set of Prairie View guys, is that he actually gave us a perspective of Prairie View A&M a little bit more from when it started. And especially getting a chance to hear his story about how he was able to use rugby to be able to build and direct the direction of his life, and how he even made his decisions for school. So it is something that I promise you guys want to listen. It was a legitimately intriguing story that I didn't even expect to go into this. I thought we were just going to talk about Prairie View A&M, and it just became the biggest hype that you could get to go to an HBCU. And I'm an advocate for that in all ways. So you guys will like this one. Just some quick news. We had a great weekend this weekend. For what it's worth, the Major League Rugby draft happened, and I know a lot of people kind of complained, and they kind of felt like, the draft wasn't going to be good for players, and in the short term it probably isn't going to be great. But honestly, from the jump, I thought it was a great idea. I thought this was a way to create stars, and honestly, I feel like it helped. Like, don't get me wrong, I might not necessarily know the guys anymore, but I can promise you I know them better than I did now. And even more so, I think it raised the value of college rugby just by itself. And that's huge, because not only does if it impacts college rugby, it impacts rugby industry altogether, because now we have a subsequent point where everything kind of matriculates. Now, the only people that could be hurt by this is club rugby, but if you play your cards right and you actually kind of get to understand how to be able to use it, whether you use it as a feeder system, as a practice mechanism, as a method of trying to transition people up. And it doesn't mean just D1 that has to be used. You could use D2 and transition people up. But the point is that now you have a system that has a tangible return that's more than just good feeling. And don't get me wrong, people will play for passion, and that's going to always be there. I don't think you can do this sport unless you have a varying passion of it. The money is not good enough in professional to do it. But what this does is actually create the setup for people to put stakes into the game. And when you got stakes in the game, now it changes up the entire dynamic of how everything goes. So I was really excited by this. I actually loved this draft. I watched it from beginning to end. It for a first draft, it's what you expected. You didn't get as much footage. It wasn't, obviously we have the NFL and NBA draft in our heads as our standards, but I'll be honest, I still liked it. First time, loved it. Kudos to George Killebrew, the commissioner for the MLR, and the guys for putting it together. Kudos to the teams out there. 13 rounds, two rounds, 13 drafts per round. It was solid. We even had a trade. Manola Gold guys, Fitz and everybody out there did their thing. Got a trade. Got a couple good guys. So we'll see. And now it makes the college game even more relevant going into the 2021 season. And that makes things like the HBCU Rugby Classic even that much more, because we want to be able to make more and more of these players be able to stand out and be able to function and be able to take advantage in whatever walk of life they choose, whether it's professional rugby or whether it's anything else. So I'm excited for it. Also, we got an amazing little event coming up at the end of this week on Friday, on Juneteenth. June 19th, Juneteenth. It's not Juneteenth because it's June 19th. It is Juneteenth because it's June 19th. But the significance of Juneteenth is not because it's called June 19th. It's because that was the final day that slavery was officially abolished. 1865 was when the war ended. But June 19th, 1866 is whenever slavery was officially abolished. The last state abolished it, which I believe was Texas at that time. So we are going to have a great panel. It's called The Barbecue. It's going to be on Facebook Live, and you guys will be able to watch some of the best in black rugby influencers. We're going to have Phaedra Knight. We will have Phaedra Knight, Hall of Famer, USA Rugby Hall of Famer, now one of the co-founders of PLK Collections, which is appraisal e-commerce appraisal company that supports women's sports. We're going to have Koma Gandhi Fishbin, the first woman head coach for the All-Navy Rugby Sevens team, as well as a coach for the USA Rugby Age Grade Development System. We got Tozan Tusatanwe, who is the founder of Viral Rugby and a high school rugby coach. We're going to have Kyle and Tiana Granby. We had them at the beginning of the episode, the first episode of this podcast, and the founders of Roots Rugby. And we will have Akinola Raymond, TikTok star, Mystic Rivers rugby player, Atlantis Rugby Sevens player. He's been rugby playing everywhere, coming right out of Maryland. And you guys, if you guys have seen his TikTok on his Instagram page, absolute fire, hilarious. And if you get on a little uncomfortable with the fence, go watch it, because it'll be funnier to watch you get even more uncomfortable with it. But no, he's got great content and has been building a following, a massive following like you wouldn't believe. So check it out. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour-long Facebook Live off of the HBCU Rugby Classic website, but we'll also have it on GiftTime Rugby as well, and inside the International Virtual Rugby group as well. So it's going to be a fantastic time. An absolutely fantastic time. Great discussion about issues in rugby and culture from the black perspective. So I hope you guys get a chance to enjoy it and just kind of take it all in. And, of course, we still have our sponsors, Rugby Outlet Mall, being able to equip you for freedom and connection through rugby. We have our HBCU Rugby Classic shirts up for sale. Utilize it during this month. This is what we use to be able to fund the HBCU Rugby Classic as well as other things, so that we can provide more content, more scenario, and, of course, be able to develop the sport so we can get more and more of these schools in and subsequently be able to make rugby in the USA one of the biggest elements in this globe. You just can't deny any of that. You guys, we have 20% off coupons for all GTR GiftTime Rugby or HBCU Rugby gear, and the coupon code is GREAUX Rugby, GREAUX Rugby, and you guys put that coupon code and you get 20% off all GiftTime Rugby merch and all HBCU Rugby merch. So definitely check it out. And lastly, we have Singapore to Tokyo, Any Way We Can, the documentary series, available now on video on demand. Guys, go check it out. This is a great documentary series, a great 7-episode exciting journey of these two guys, myself being one of them, and my friend Jason, going through Southeast Asia, getting to know the culture, interacting with the rugby nonprofit organizations, and of course, having a chance to interact and be a part of the Rugby World Cup. It is so informational. It is so meaningful. Even though I was a part of it, I still felt it and teared up from this whole situation. It was a beautiful thing to watch. We've had amazing reviews, from very prominent people, but of course, just general people just enjoying it as is. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's available now on Vimeo. You guys can check it out. I'll put the link in the show notes that you guys can go ahead and just shoot over to it, or you guys can find it on rugbyoutletmall.com/Singapore to Tokyo. rugbyoutletmall/Singapore to Tokyo. And you guys can be able to order it from there, and I promise you, you're not going to regret it. It's going to be the best money that you spent. So, now that that's all out the way, hey, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this great interview with a great guy, a great conversation. Prairie View A&M's one and only Matthew Provost.
Grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Grow Rugby. I got another VIP guest. It is one of the first guys who attended my HBCU Rugby Classic. He part of the first winning team at the HBCU Rugby Classic, and is also a part of the first team of that first team who won at the HBCU Rugby Classic. Matthew Provost, Prairie View A&M. Matt, man, thanks for coming through, bro.
Man, thanks for inviting me, bro. I'm glad to be on, man. I'm a big fan of yours, brother.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It always, if I could be seen blushing, it always makes me blush. So I'm not even gonna lie. So man, I appreciate that, bro. I remember 2018, and you guys came up to PVMU, you came up to Baton Rouge, and just trying to scrape out, the process of scraping out that first HBCU Rugby Classic was a story in and of itself. But when you guys came up and you guys showed out, and then on top of that, it was what's the best way of putting it? It was a very emotionally exhilarating experience to know that this had all come together. I'm not gonna lie, it was super dope, and the fact that regardless of whenever this posts, it's been 2 years exactly since we did that first HBCU Rugby Classic.
Right.
Time flies, right?
But man, greatly flies. I'm kind of mad I missed the second one, but after graduation, real life happens. So
Exactly.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm 100% with you on that. So
trust me, more I wouldn't have won if I was there.
Say that. So again, it's a 100% win rate for PVMU. 100% win rate for Prairie View A&M, man. 100%. I love it.
Oh man, you already know, man. To me, Morehouse is a great school. They're coming up, but with Prairie View, it was so. How I said, when we started out, we started out in 2016. That's when the official club was initiated. I wasn't on the team until I'm sorry, let me revise that. I said 2013 actually. I didn't come on to the team until 2014. I was playing football at the time, and I switched majors, so I couldn't keep up with football anymore as going on with my major. So I was trying to graduate and get up out of there. But the first rugby class, I was just graduating. The second one I missed. But with us as a whole, we're more of a family. I know Morehouse is a big family, but they were late starting, unlike us. I think they had at least by 3 or 4 years on them before we came together to play. So that's why we had such a good chemistry together. A lot of the guys we lost after the first classic due to graduation, injuries, and we had a couple guys transfer also. So I think that's why Morehouse did a little better than what they did last time on that second go around.
Well, look, man, I'll say this. As much as it was, it was still, a really great game coming down from the refs, and then from the refs' perspective and from the fan perspective. And two, you know what? For whatever the reason is, it established a rivalry, and I think it established it well. But before we kind of go into all that, kind of want to go into your story a little bit here, because obviously being of the HBCU, you know, it comes from there's a unique culture that goes along with that. You know, we were working, and you guys have already had started to be able to tie into what is rugby culture. So kind of starting off with your origin story, like what got you started playing rugby?
Let's see. All right. Well, like I said, I had quit football at the time, and one of the guys was a good friend of mine. He found out I quit, and he was like, man, the day I quit, he came to my dorm and was like, bro, I need you on this rugby team. I was like, rugby? I was like, bro, I don't even know what that is. And I'm not going to play nothing that's not, you know, that sounds like it's going to get me tore up. He was like, bro, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You fast, you big, you good. Trust me, just come out to practice. So they practiced on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it took me a while. He told me on Thursday, so I had a weekend to think about it, and I was like, you know what? I still got a little after lesson. I had one more year of eligibility left. Let's go see what it's about. Went out there, met the guys. A lot of guys had already heard about me, saying I was coming, and then they brought me in with open arms. We the first practice was so dope, and the fact that I didn't know half these guys. Even though we went to school together, I didn't know even half these guys. I only knew probably about 4 or 5 guys on the team, and we just clicked just like that. We ended up getting a coach from. He was a coach from the Houston Hurt. Mm-hmm. He ended up coming to help us out along the way. As far as me as a whole doing it, I was just starstruck. I was like, man, I can do this, man. Get the ball and just take off running. Man, we did that all through as a kid. I mean,
right.
Blow them up, bust them up, kill them, man, with the ball. Yeah, that's straight back. It was just straight backyard stuff. That's where I'm from. I come from a football-based city. Orange, right. Texas is straight football-based.
I feel like that's a redundant term. A football-based city in Texas. I feel like that's just saying the same thing twice over.
I mean, man, if you was to come to Orange, Texas, and see, we breed our kids to play football from day high. I mean, it's straight football out here. And for me to change from football to rugby, it was really a hard thing for me, because as soon as I got the ball, I'm looking like, are y'all gonna block for me? Can I run behind y'all? You know, no, I can't. No, you can't do that. We can't block. We can't run behind us. I was getting the ball going straight side to sideways, trying to juke everybody. They take off running. Right. I wasn't worried about passing. I wasn't worried about you next to me. I'm faster than you, so I got this. Don't worry about it. But it brought me to where, hey, you know, I need to learn more teamwork skills, because rugby is a whole team sport. Unlike football, if you got that one guy that's just unstoppable, right? You can easily go places. After the first game, I think I scored 3 times. I had a hat trick my first game. Right. And after that, I was completely hooked. We went as a whole. Prairie View had some struggles. Coming up, we had struggles keeping guys. We had struggles at games to where they seen a whole group of black guys just coming up to play, and it was like automatically just knew that we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew what we were doing. We trained with the Woodlands in Houston. We've trained with the Houston Herd. We've trained with Hark. We've almost trained with every semi-pro men's group in Houston. Mm-hmm. And they all vouched for us. So going to tournaments, I mean, the first thing that came out of the guys' mouths was, "Y'all playing against us? No, well, no, y'all too fast. We're not worried. We're not going to do that. No, we're not playing against y'all." We heard that forever, and we were like, man, we fast, but we not, sound technique. I think we want actually
the technical skills were still in needing to be in flux. That's what was right.
Yeah, we were still bigly working on it at the time. But the guys that we had, like Rico, Cody, Brandon Udemy, all had the knowledge of rugby already because they played in high school. Mm-hmm. Some of us played in high school and some of us didn't. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we had those guys set and with us, it was just a magical thing. And like I said, man, we've come a long way. The jersey behind me right here, that's our first official jersey.
Yeah.
We now have 3 official jerseys, and we're now sponsored by Adidas also. So we've come a long way, man. Long way.
That's massive. You know, it's interesting because, you know, you see this context, especially when it comes with black players, in terms of just the pure athleticism that goes along with it. And, you know, we're talking about the speed. Everybody comes in with that presumption. Whether good or bad, take it for what it is. It's always coming in with that presumption. But a lot of times, again, you still have to work on being able to get the skill levels and everything. But even more importantly is utilizing the culture. So whenever you guys started playing, you know, within the rugby culture, you guys were already working with a lot of these club teams that were within the area. How much did you personally take when it came to, like, post-game socials and dealing with your opponent after the game is done? So coming off of football, whenever you deal with an opponent, that's to no. Like, when you come on, you're on the field, that's the people that you're going against. When you're off the field, that's not your people. And then maybe you might hang with some dudes, you know, maybe individually. But when it comes to team situation, those are your enemies. Those are your opponents. But in rugby, you ended up having different. For you, what was that mindset like whenever you first were witnessing that? Or did you guys even get to that point?
We got to that point because, like I said, some of the guys who had already played, they explained it to us. We was like, man, it's a game played by gentlemen. Mm-hmm. We're gentlemen. So, I mean, I hate you while I'm on the field. I'm going to talk cash, money, crap. That's me. If you know Matthew Provost, you know he going to talk some crap on the field. It's non-void. I'm going to talk bad about you on the field. But afterwards, I'm like, man, good hit, good game, man. Man, I can't believe you caught me. But I also had to humble myself because, like you said, coming from football, I was like, if somebody hit me hard, I don't even want to talk to you. I mean, right. If we beat y'all or y'all beat us real bad, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm gonna see y'all next time on the field. Mm-hmm. So I had to humble myself. I had to basically grow up and see that, you know what, it's just a game.
Right.
We all trying to compete. We all trying to get to that top spot. But as far as socials was, I mean, we had our first years, a lot of the guys didn't stay for the socials, but I stayed for every social. Okay. I mean, it was fun. I mean,
what was the reason for wanting to stay for each one of the socials? How come you wanted to stay so? Why were you so dedicated to holding in?
I was so dedicated to staying because once I figured out the sport, I seen the sport, I YouTubed it, did a lot of research. I was like, man, this I can actually learn from guys. As my first year, I can learn from other guys who've actually played longer than I have.
Right.
So just staying and just talking to their coach, talking to their team, to other teams, players, just getting the insight. Hey man, when did you start? Can you give me some pointers? Did you see me on the field? I mean, what should I do wrong? What can I do better? Stuff like that. Before my first year, it was over. I ran into a coach from Stephen F. Austin.
Okay.
And he basically told me, he said, man, I can tell this your first year. I can tell you football-based guy, but keep staying with it. I mean, the guys can't touch you. Can't nobody touch you on this field right now. Mm-hmm. Stay with it. And it clicked in my head, hey, maybe this is my sport. Mm-hmm. I wasn't making it to the NFL. I wasn't making it big in football. I just played it for fun. Use it as I basically use it as a gateway to get to college.
Right.
Because I wasn't going to pay for it. My parents weren't going to pay for it. So I had to actually get, that way to get into college.
Right.
But looking onto it more, I say that this, like I said, the socials was it was fun. Everybody was, I'm like, man, he just hit that guy real hard on the field, but now they sharing a beer. I mean, that's amazing. That shows maturity. Actually,
right?
It shows maturity, and that it made me grow up, and I'm loving it ever since, man.
No, that's dope. I always find it interesting because even for me, the culture of it was what actually had turned me over. Because when you're on the field, you get the concept, run hard, get to the score, hit this guy, stop that person, and then pass somewhere in the middle there. That's like even from football background going into it, you know that much, at least from an instinctual standpoint. You might not know the technicality, but instinctually you know. But whenever you get off the field and now you're interacting with the people and now you're seeing like guys singing songs or, sharing a beer together or any drink, you're just like, yo, what's happening? Like, and then I have to assume.
Yeah, I'm not used to this now.
What?
I wasn't used to shooting the boot. I wasn't used to the song.
Right, exactly. like, just like, yo, are you guys serious? Like, yo, is this for real? Is this for real? Oh,
we drinking out of a creek,
right?
Come on, bro. We don't do that. We don't do that in Prairie View. We don't drink out the boot and stuff like that. But I mean, we do it now.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in reality. This is not something that black folk typically do to begin with. Let alone right.
I didn't want to throw it out there, but
look, be honest, because that's the thing. There's the element of this game that I think especially whenever we talk about it with people within the community, we always know, like, there's that response of, like you said, what is this? What's this craziness? We even get like, yo, this is a white boy sport. Like what do you have? And then you get into it, you're like, no, this isn't bad. Like, it's a little crazy, but it's not bad, right?
Right.
So all right. So you're over at Prairie View A&M. You started playing rugby for them. But here's the question I have. So what made you decide to go to PVMU? Like, what made you decide to go to Prairie View as an HBCU as opposed to any other university or college that you could have attended?
Well, Prairie View was one of the schools who was looking at me in football. I was really wanting to go to Sam Houston. That was one of the schools I had wanted to go to. It was diehard Sam Houston. I mean, I wouldn't even think about Prairie View at the time. I actually I snapped my ankle in football my senior year, and Sam Houston stopped looking at me. So I was like, well, all my cousins who are graduating were going to Prairie View, and they was like, one of my cousins, his name is Dorian. He said, man, come with me. I'm finna go tour the school. I was like, man, I really don't, I'm not really big on, at the time I wasn't big on black colleges because I thought they were small, didn't really know much about it. I went to Southern. I didn't like Southern. I didn't like it at all. I toured TSU, definitely didn't like it at all. Oh, yeah. God. And so I ended up like, you know what, I'm going to go. So I ended up going. We went on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Every Wednesday at Prairie View, we have Hump Day on the Hill at 12 p.m. every Wednesday. And it's just a big cultural family reunion type party type. It's not really a party, but it's just a big family reunion. You have the Greeks stepping. You got the organizations doing their thing. You have people just being friendly. I mean, it only lasts 1 hour.
Right.
They do it every Wednesday at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. You have people walking to class and like, man, let me stop and go to Hump Day for a little bit. Hump Day is a big tradition at Prairie View. I mean, and after I seen that, I met up with the football coach. He talked to me. I wanted to major in agriculture because I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Right.
A lot of things changed at the time, but still on that road. But I went to talk to the agriculture department. Love their agriculture department. The agriculture department is at par with Texas A&M, and it was just flawless. I was like, cousin, you going here? He's like, cousin, I'm going here, bro. This is my choice. I was like, you know what? Go ahead, sign me up too. I gotta come here, man. This is me. This is my culture. This is my people. Actually, I mean, I got the Prairie View, and I just clicked just like that. This is my school.
So whenever you got there, it almost like this. Did it dismiss those previous notions that you had about, black colleges, like everything that you had already thought? Because, you hit Southern, you hit TSU in Dallas, you hit Southern here in Baton Rouge, and now you have Prairie View A&M, the third black college that you went to, and it's like it changes it. So for you, like, whenever you see that, like, were you just like, okay, maybe I was wrong about it, even though 2 out of 3 you weren't really feeling?
Yeah, I was totally wrong. I for anybody who experienced a historical black college, your life completely changes. If you go through the whole 4 years, even 5 years, 6 years to take you to get that degree, it changes your whole life. I mean, it's the minute you step on that campus, you feel the love.
Right.
It's like you know you're supposed to be there. And with I mean the first Greeks that ever come up to me, help us out. The Greeks come up there and help you out on move-in day. The Qs helped us out. The Kappas helped us out. One of our dorm managers was a Kappa. I mean, he helped us with our homework. He helped us with everything. I mean, he was just it's just brotherly love out there, brotherly and sisterly love out there. And like I said, it's like a big family organization out there. And it wasn't that far from my hometown. Mm-hmm. I wasn't that far from home, and I got to have a chance for my mom and my dad to actually see me play. So that was one of the things I had wanted to actually do. I didn't want to go far. I had a chance to, with my academics, I had a chance to go to Oregon, Washington State, USC, UCLA, just far as straight academics. But I didn't want to go that far because if I was going to make the football team there, my parents couldn't come out and see. Right. And then your mom, she drills everything in your head. Now what if something happens? I can't get up there to help you out. So I'm like, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go somewhere close, but I'm also gonna go somewhere where I can also enjoy myself.
Right.
Because it's school life. You got to enjoy yourself sometime out there.
No, of course. I mean, but that's part of the experience. That's part of the experience. Man, it's a university experience. Like it is one part of it. It's one part studies and learning and progression. It's one part growing up and learning how to be a grown man or woman. And then it's a third part of learning how to be able to let loose and socialize and create the networks that you want to be able to have for the future, because those people last for a lot of these people last you the rest of your life.
Yes, they do. I have lifelong friends from Prairie View to this day. I mean all my friends from Prairie View I still talk to this day. I have a friend I met there. His name is Dandre Randall, one of my best friends. I give that man my left lung if he needed. It's just that's the type of friendship I have with those guys. And another one of the big reasons I went to Prairie View because of the history of Prairie View.
Okay,
it's built on a plantation. Right. Prairie View is one of the oldest schools, the first two oldest schools in Texas. I wanted to be a part of that history. I wanted to put my name somewhere in that history at Prairie View. So with that being said, I was one of the youngest in the agriculture department to ever get an internship with the USDA. Mm-hmm. That was a mark I left. I was one of the best, volunteer. We volunteered, but I was one of the tour guys for the school. I did tours for all the high school students, make sure they knew every bit of the history, because you got to know Prairie View is in Black history. You can't. I mean, I don't care what nobody says. Wherever you go all over the world, if you study Black history, you're gonna know about Prairie View A&M University. Now with rugby, I'm currently the trial holder. I mean, I don't think nobody's gonna take it. I had 13 tries in one season, and that was my first season.
That's dope. And I like that because of the fact of the things you said. Like, it's not only the history of the school gives you investment into its depth. Seeing everything on campus is the surface, and that's the flashy part. The depth to knowing like who preceded you and set up the pathway for you to be able to get to where you are makes a massive difference in how you go about investing and perceiving yourself through that school, because it sets your character to some extent, because you're trying to match to these legacies that have been established, right?
Oh man, and they have some legacies at Prairie View, man. I mean, it's some history at that school. There's some history at the school. Trust me.
So you get onto the campus. You go in. First day, everybody's packed in. So for you, like, while the Hump Day Wednesday was what brought you in, what was the moment whenever you got onto campus and started where you were like, okay, yeah, I'm really at home here?
Let's see. During the freshman move-in, the first week of freshman move-in, we have series of contests with each building. There's, I believe, at the time, there were 12 dorm 12 freshman dorms, 6 male, 6 female. And with that, we had competitions within those ranks. We had, and at the end of the week, we all came together in the Baby Dome. That's the basketball court. We have all the ceremonies and everything. We all came together, and the president at the time, he was like, "Congratulations, because you don't make it past the first week as a freshman, you're not technically a student." Mm-hmm. So he said after the first week, he said, "Congratulations, you are now Prairie View students."
Nice.
But before then, we had like a pep rally type thing to where we also had competitions of the PV Shuffle. Man, the PV Shuffle is legendary. Every class that comes through has their own PV Shuffle, which is a certain type of dance we do.
Right.
Of that year, we combine all the dances of that year into one big dance move, one big dance line dance. To see, if you were to see the freshmen all the freshmen get on that basketball court and do the PV Shuffle, it brings a tear to your eyes, because it's like, man, this guy's from Dallas, this guy's from Louisiana, this guy's from Houston. You know, Dallas and Houston do not click.
Right. Yeah. I know. It's the rivalry that makes the least amount of sense to me, but also makes all the sense at the same time. Even though I feel like it's mostly Houston rivaling with Dallas and vice versa.
It is. You hear a lot, man. I don't like no Dallas people, man. Dallas, man, you gotta get up on out of here somewhere. It's basically like Bloods and Crips when it comes to Houston and Dallas. But to see these people from different cultures, from different lives, from different paths, come together as one whole, like a family, it blows your mind. Completely blows your mind. And once that week was over, I mean, during that week, I say I've gathered probably maybe 20 to 25 new friends at the time.
Nice.
I mean, my whole building was my brothers. We were brothers. And you couldn't split us apart. I mean, I was in building 43. That was Fort Trey. We were yelling, Fort Trey. You got building 42. Fort dudes. I mean, you couldn't mess with Fort Trey though. That's how we was. And it was like, it's so big, and then you got your pals. The pals are like the mentors to the freshmen. My pal, his name was Ryan. Man, he really showed me the way of the school. Like, he said, man, do this, do this. You got it. I mean, you got the knowledge, you got the leadership skills. Go ahead and take it. I was one of the leaders for my building.
Nice.
So I took it and I went with it. My classmate from high school ended up winning Mr. Freshman. And I mean, all my classmates that went to Prairie View with me and my cousins, when we got there, we made sure that we was gonna make a name for ourselves. You guys were gonna
take over, become royalty of the campus.
We took over. Yeah, we took it. We took it over. I mean, people didn't think we was taking over, but hey, to say this, in high school, I wasn't that popular.
Mm-hmm.
Prairie View, I was a very popular guy.
Right.
So that opened my eyes to a lot of change. I've changed a lot. I changed a lot from high school to college. When I got to college, I changed completely. I went back home and nobody could even know who I was. Because I was such a quiet type. I don't know if you have seen Friday Night Lights with the football player, Preacher Man, the quiet one. I was a quiet one.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
In my books, didn't go to parties. But when I went to Prairie View,
just change it up. It's
lit. It's lit. All day is lit. Every day is lit. We in class. As soon as we get our studies done, but I did my studies. I never fell behind. I graduated with a 3.5 GPA, and nice. I'm gonna get my studies, or my dad's gonna kick my ass. But the times when it was time to come together and be a whole and just have fun, we had fun.
Right.
We did. And that's what hooked me to Prairie View, because when I was there, I used to travel to Blinn, who was nearby. I would travel to Texas A&M, who was about 45 minutes away, and I wasn't seeing the things that I seen at Prairie View.
Right.
I'm like, man, if they was to come to Prairie View, they would have way more fun than they did here. They would have way more. It would feel way more as a whole.
Right.
Then the classrooms. The teachers called you by your name.
Right.
The teachers knew who you were. The teachers were there to help you.
Right.
They weren't there to babysit you, but they made sure you got through with it. During midterms, if you were failing, they would pull you to the side and say, man, what's going on? Is everything all right in your life? You know, everything going good? What can we talk about it? What can we do to make sure you pass this class? Right. Even with a C, they made sure that they was going to help you pass. Unlike other schools who really didn't really
You're just
much
a number.
Nah, you were just a number.
Right.
And when people say that you weren't just a number, that you weren't just a number, you realize that, hey, that I'm at a school who actually cares. I'm at a place where people actually care about my future. People who want to do something for me, and that's why I chose Prairie View. So, like I said, once I got there, you experience all that. You see all that. It's just I recommend any kid. If you don't know what school you want to go to, come talk to me and I can tell you about Prairie View. Trust me.
No, I can see it. You know, I find it interesting, and it was what I was. And whenever you're talking about it, was what I was hoping was a lot of these similarities, that homeliness that comes along with it, that these HBCUs have. I think one of the most interesting thing is whenever you talk to an HBCU alumni, for the most part, have typically they might bemoan maybe some of the administrative things the schools do, but when it comes to the actual classwork, when it comes to the social aspect, you actually end up finding like people are very hard pressed to say a lot in anything negative because there's so much attachment. It feels so, as you said, correct. It feels very much at home. And I go with that when it goes to like coming back to the rugby stuff. So whenever you started playing, like what were some of the similarities that you talked about where you got from rugby seemed like you also got it from your first university experience to begin with. So when you were playing, like, were you able to, did it make it easier for you to understand, obviously on top of people explaining it, to absorb and accept what the rugby culture itself had because of what you had already been experiencing as a student? Yeah,
with playing, as far as when let's say second year, when the second year during the summertime we stayed together. We would all go to the tournaments, the 7 tournaments, and I love the 7 tournaments. My best friends come from different teams.
Right.
I got Aaron Boone from the Huns. I got Colton Patterson. I got Dobkins. I've got Travis. Oh man, all from the Woodlands. Each different team that I've played with, I've a part of me stayed with them.
Right.
And I've learned from them. They were, some of my best friends play rugby now. I just love being in the atmosphere, and to be with going to Prairie View, you see different people.
Right.
You learn different people, and you make new friends. You learn how to talk to people. You learn, how to be, culturalized. Just talk to people. Be friendly. Don't say just friendly, but be friendly.
Right.
When if you would ask anybody in the state of Texas that plays rugby by me that know Matthew Provost, hey, that's my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy too. I would do a lot for you. So It was the transition of being a student at a black college, and then going around a bunch of white people in a different atmosphere. The fact that you see so much love of the same type of family love in rugby as you do with being at a black college.
Right.
You get that same type. You're not get nobody that's gonna shun you away, man, get up on my face, or it's like, come on, man, I don't know you that much, but we're gonna learn from we're gonna learn about each other.
Right.
Easy, just by talking. Or man, get my number. If you need any help with something, just help me out. If you ever in town, you need a place to stay, go ahead, hit me up. And then I also got that same feeling as when I pledged. I pledged Alpha Phi Omega, and I also got that same.
Oh, so you're a Q?
No. I'm let's see. They call us Vikes, but I'm more of an Alpha than anything else in a Q.
Okay. All right.
But as far as it being in, I got all that love. You get all that love just saying, just being around people at socials. I had guys buying me beer, and I didn't even know anything about you. Like, I don't know you. Why are you buying me a beer? I mean, because you had a good game. What you mean? I gotta buy you something. I've got all my jerseys that I've had, all my shirts that I've had. I've not bought not one.
Bruh, that's that dopeness, and that's I always find that. I mean, that the culture is. I mean, for me, is the sitting factor that goes with it. Even when it came, whether you're in town or from overseas or you go overseas, is the same. So, but from your perspective, you know, you see these similarities, you experience these things. But I've always been a big believer that there's a shared culture. I mean, there's the obvious shared culture, but these cultures can actually cross and learn from each other. From your perspective, what do you think that the HBCU experience and that culture, and subsequently even within the Black culture, do you think can bring to rugby that might, especially here in America, that you could see that could be a positive addition to it?
Let's see. Well, I had the chance to play overseas. I played the Grand Caymans, and at the Grand Caymans, it's some Black guys on the team, but you can see the flavor in it of the team. Yeah, it's an England based team, but you can see that flavor of Blackness on that team. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, the Black NFL players who are, you know, doing things in the community, you know, also on the other side of it, they lit. Mm-hmm. Juju Smith-Schuster lit all the time on YouTube or anything like that. But you see more Black people in pro sports and regular sports. We just got that vibe. We just got that sensation. as you seen when we was at the first HBCU Classic during halftime, we were stepping, we were joking around, we were dancing to the music they were playing, and that's what we do. I mean, right. And that's I think that as Black people we can bring to that. We can also bring that competition. Mm-hmm. Because we are, if I believe all Black people actually try, we are very athletic. Yeah, and we bring that sense of athletics and that competition to the sport.
I think there is that aspect. So, and I don't disagree. I think it's particularly I've always been a big believer that it is the cultural renaissance that needs to be had, because I think with other countries, you know, everybody has their culture, but everybody has a very chill, maybe laid back, maybe a held back culture that's not really built for flash, or that's not always built for showmanship in the way. But I think there's something, especially here in the States, when it comes to Black culture, it provides, like you said, another level of swag, another level of element of litness that goes along with it, that it changes it. Like, I mean, look at HBCUs when it comes to marching bands. We're talking about same thing. Both university, PWI, or HBCUs both have bands. But whenever you listen to an HBCU band, like, you're talking about something that it's a whole body movement. You know, there's shake your head music. Say what?
Toe tap. I mean, if you don't start tapping your feet, or
right, just exactly. Like, you start, you know, go, and then all of a sudden it's like you're taking the body, you're like, oh, you know. And it's not to say that PWIs have.
Especially with our marching bands, the best in the land, you know.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Arguably. I mean, we the jukebox is still a thing, but you know, whatever. Southern University for everybody else who doesn't really understand these concepts, but you know, but yeah, you know, it's things like that. But even when it comes to the way that it's gatherings, and I think obviously there's a lot of similarities to how you tailgate. But one thing I remember whenever I was I checked out during football season, Southern's homecoming, and then I had the opportunity to go to Alcorn's, and you know, I'd seen FAMU's a couple times, But one thing that always stood out was the family reunion development that comes along with an HBCU classics. It's not to say, again, PWI schools have the tailgates are great, you know, inviting and everything like that. But there is that constant family dynamic that goes with an HBCU tailgate. And it just it vibes in, and I wonder sometimes. I don't wonder, and I always think like to be able to bring that aspect of the culture into rugby for the Americas, it doesn't change the rugby, but only can strengthen it simply because of the fact that you already know that is part of the American lexicon. Like that's part of the American culture, whether people realize it or not. It is, and to add it in creates another perception, even on the field. What you know happens off field is going to end up revealing itself on field.
100%.
So I guess the other part that I ask is, what do you think that rugby culture has also been able to bring, maybe even through you, back to your HBCU experience? Like how do you feel it resonates between the two? Like rugby culture resonate into how you now perceive these intricate HBCU, student and social experiences?
It ties in a lot. Like I said, I feel you feel the family vibe in it. As the family vibe I felt as being as a student as an HBCU, and then being a HBCU rugby player, it still brings that family vibe. I mean, we have people who've never played, who've never seen rugby, never heard about rugby, but we have our student body come and watch our games.
Right.
Just because, hey, Prairie View got a rugby team? Oh, we got to go check that out. I mean, and we all family. We all support each other.
Right.
Some people say that black people don't support each other, but we do. If you ever been to HBCU, you see it's nothing but support for the next person. Trying to make the next person be as great as they can be. Trying to make sure that my friend succeeds. My friend's gonna make sure that I succeed. And that's just how it is. With the rugby team, we didn't have that many players at first. We did as much as we could to get players. Nobody wanted to take a hit. Some guys went out there and say, man, I love this. Some guys went out there and said, man, this is not for me. It may be not for you. It may be for you, but at least that you tried, and we're still going strong. And the fact that we went from regular jerseys that doesn't have no logo on, just a regular Preview logo on it, to a nice kit with Adidas. I mean, that's big. Go from here to way up here in a matter of maybe 4 or 5 years. And that's what made me feel, that's why I love the sport. I love being a member of a HBCU rugby team so much, because it shows how far, one, it shows how far we came. Two, it shows that the struggle for a black person, because it was a struggle for us. Nobody wanted to help us out at first, because we were all black team that thought we were just some black naive little kids. Nobody wanted to show us some support. We had to go out and find the support, but we got it. And once we got it and showed everybody that we can play, 2, we can compete with y'all.
Right.
3, we're actually good as hell. And if all we needed was a good coach, it was sky's the limit.
Man. Dude,
but as far as you feel, I'm not taking away from the guys before me, but being the first, there's 2 of us. The first 2 alumni for the Prairie View rugby team, it's just, I feel like I'm just, man, it sometimes brings tears to your eyes. Like, man, we came through a long way. They didn't, it was to the point where when we got invited to the tournament, we got invited to one tournament, and then they found out we was an HBCU team, they cut us from the tournament.
Seriously?
They cut us from the tournament, and we found out, we never found out why, but the following year we got onto the tournament. But the next tournament before the following year, the next tournament after that, when we found out we was cut, we came in 2nd place.
Wow.
Of that tournament. You had colleges and grown men teams there, and we came in 2nd place. once we came in second place and we got that first trophy in that trophy room of our brand new workout stadium, everybody was hooked. Everybody was looking at us. Everybody was like, man, that team's going to go forward. Man, that team is dangerous. Do not take them lightly because they don't look like we could play, but man, we could play flat out. We could run. We could hit. I mean, Rico.
Right.
Rico can hit.
I mean, look, that was my first person of the match, player of the match. Yo.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. Rico and with Rico, I say Rico is one of our most decorated players.
Right.
Rico has been on a team for going on his 4th year. And Rico has made the All-Star team, traveling the All-Star team every year.
Right.
As far as Cayman Islands, Canada, New Zealand, the Bahamas. He's been everywhere and representing our team.
Right.
So I'm so proud of him. I'm very proud of him as being one of his elders. And he calls me every time. Like I didn't even tell you, I didn't even know about the HBCU Classic. He called me like, Matt. I was like, what's up? He said, what you doing in April? I say, man, I don't know. What's up? He said, man, they got the first ever HBCU Rugby Classic. I said, the what? HBCU Rugby Classic? I'm there. How much what I need to do? Can I play? Since I'm out of school tomorrow, he said, man, yes, you can play. Oh, baby, let's go. We in there. Let's go. And we got, oh, man. I just to hear that. And then with the interview I got with at the Classic, like I said, I never thought I'll see something like this.
Yeah.
Only at the time of my knowledge, there were only 2 HBCU rugby teams.
Right.
I didn't know more. It was just us and FAMU. We compete with the big schools and compete with. So I mean, you can't just because we're HBCU, you think we're small. We're actually D1. We come to play, and we gonna show you that we came to play.
Man.
Take us lightly, and you will get beat by Prairie View. Trust me. Take them lightly, you will get beat, and you will get beat bad. I mean, let me say, I think Texas State took us lightly, and we embarrassed them. I think we beat them like 50-3.
Yeah.
And that opened their. I mean, they were so mad they didn't even show up to our social.
Seriously? Yeah, that's so whack. That's so whack.
That's how mad they were. But I mean, hey, we was like, bro, oh well.
It's true. That's pretty much all you can do. Like, yo, look, the point is we finished the field and we're gonna win the social as well. Y'all forfeited the social, we win the field.
Yeah, and with the socials, we all went to the socials. We went and we started after a while. We all started going. They didn't think we were gonna stay, even though they beat us. We went and had a good time with the other team. We went and showed our class and went to the other socials.
So kind of winding down a little bit. What is the future that for Prairie View A&M, and even so, also on top of that, what's the future looking like for you?
The future for start off with the future for Prairie View is sky. Like I say, it's sky's the limit. They got the Adidas sponsor. I can't see nothing going higher than that. I mean, the only thing I see us doing is winning that championship. We come so close in the tournament to doing it, but we never get the chance to do it. But when we win that first championship, I'm gonna be there.
Yo, that's gonna
definitely that trophy. As far as me with my rugby, I was currently trying to try out for overseas teams. Been putting my film out there. Wish I was young enough to be in that draft because I was gonna be in that draft. Oh, this gonna pick me up. But I mean, all the guys who was in that draft, I mean, I wish them the best. I hope you get drafted. And whoever's watching this, whoever end up watching this, you in that draft, man, I hope you get drafted, man, because it's for you. You get drafted. As far as me, as soon as the coronavirus is over, I'm going to find somewhere. It's either for me, you will see me either in the SaberCats jersey, the Dallas team, or the Austin team. I'm going to be in one of those jerseys. I always told my parents, I told my grandmother who passed away recently, I'm gonna go play for a pro team. I'm sorry. It's just I just want it so bad. So bad. I've been training. I mean, I wasn't even this size. I gained at least about 20 pounds. But I mean, during after playing.
Right.
During this virus, I've been staying running, staying working out, staying getting around. When my name get called in that time, when you get my name get called,
ready to go.
Oh, what? It's going down, baby. It's going down. Trust. Big trust.
Yo, bro, I love it. Matt, man, dude, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, dude. And I love the insight because, you know, I think there's a lot that is coming for the future, especially when it comes to HBCUs and rugby. And not just from my personal standpoint. I think it's, you know, we see it over at Morehouse. We see it over with you guys at Prairie View A&M. We see it over at North Carolina A&T on the slate. And we see a lot of these high schoolers that are starting to pop up. And I think that that's going to resonate both into each other. It's going to resonate back into the rugby culture, especially after this coronavirus stuff is done. And it's going to make an impact on how we view American rugby. And I think even on the flip side, I think how rugby culture will so fluidly intertwine into HBCU culture. I will not be surprised to see HBCUs really holding rugby to high regard within the same guise as they do with their football and band programs, because it makes sense as a sport for the culture. It makes absolute sense. So
it gives kids from high school a different perspective. You don't make it in football, you don't get a football scholarship, you can go try to play rugby.
Right.
It's not hard. I mean, you're going to get hit. But I'd rather get hit skin to skin than getting hit with a helmet and some shoulder pads all day. I done took some hits. I done took some hits.
Facts, man.
But I never quit. But with that being said, I've been trying to incorporate, especially out here in my hometown. I'm currently trying to make my own team out here in my hometown. Trying to change the culture of this city. And I would tell any kid, I say, man, if you ain't making it football, if you go to school and they have a rugby team, go play.
Right.
Just try it. I didn't think I was gonna be into it. I didn't think I was gonna like it. After that first game when I got the ball and I took off running and I turned around with nobody behind me and I was like, oh yeah, this me. This is my sport. 5 years later, I'm here. Still playing. Mad that this virus might kill the 7th season because I really want to play 7.
Yeah, no, it's gone. Like, there's no rugby happening over the summer. I'm not even trying to prep for it. I mean, it could, but I doubt it. Like, I know there's people who want it, but I know it's prep for 2021. Prep for coming hard 2021. But you know what? You'll be ready one way or another. Even if the 7th season comes, you'll be ready one way or another.
Oh yeah. Trust me, it's going down. I mean, and another thing about rugby, age doesn't slow you down. You got guys who are 56 years old out there playing.
Them old boys.
My old boys better be playing. I had a guy he was a safety at Alabama. I think he was 45 years old. Oh, that man hit me so hard. I looked at him and was like, man, come on, man. You ain't gonna be hitting me like this. I'm 20 years younger than you and you stinging me like this. Come on, brother.
No, the older they get, is just they turn more into rock. They don't turn soft. They might get slower, but it's like you're just a battering ram. You went from maybe being fluid to just being a straight battering ram. I hate playing against old boys because it hurts to tackle. It hurts to tackle because it's like, yo, how are you getting physically harder? You're bigger, you're fatter, but you're physically getting harder. This makes no sense whatsoever. But you're right.
It's the hits throughout the years you take that toughen up your body. This is one of the best sports I've ever learned to play, and I'm never gonna give it up. I mean, even my dad was like, "Oh, you might get hurt out there playing." You got to catch me first.
Oh, bro.
You got to catch me first. That's all it is.
Yo, I love it, Matt. Thanks so much, bro.
Man, hey, anytime, bro. Man, anytime you want to talk or anything you need, bro. Hey, if we have a classic next year, you know I'm gonna be there. I might not be able to play.
We having a class. Look, as soon as there's a virus lift, the class are coming back, and we coming back strong. We got time now.
Oh, plenty of time. We got get it out there, man. I'm gonna be there, man.
I'm here for it.
Like I said, anytime you want to, man. One more thing, man. Please, go all day, baby.
Man, guys, again, you gotta love it. You gotta love the excitement. Don't you almost want to go to an HBCU now? Like, don't you want to go to an HBCU now? Man, I can't. Thank you so much, Matt, for being able to come on. Guys, we got more great guests coming up next week. It's gonna be a wild time, but please you haven't had a chance, check out the other interviews, check out the other podcasts. We have great interviews by people like Phil Thiel out of USA Rugby, Nia Tapper out of USA Rugby, Charity Williams, Olympic winner, Olympic bronze medalist and Canada women's rugby sevens player, Blaine Scully from USA Rugby, Saifuddin Safir from Morehouse College, Mike Toussaint and Raheem Vital out of Prairie View A&M, Kyle and Tiana Granby out of part of Roots Rugby, Ram Eddings, part of Grey Wolves, Chise Belu, part of Pedal, a company that is looking to be able to find funding and scholarships and connect you for students going into college. And so many more, so many great interviews. Cheta Emba out of USA Rugby. Like, we have been trying to collect the stories, and we have so many more, and there's so many walks of life that you guys want to do. So please, if you get a chance, listen to another one of the podcasts. It helps us all, and I want to hear from you. If you guys can leave a comment, leave a rating on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Anchor.fm, wherever it is that you're listening from. You can, or throw it up onto our Facebook page, GiftTimeRugby.com, or find us on Instagram at GiftTimeRugby. And look, I'm so happy that you guys have taken the time to listen. And just go from there. Nicholas Walcott, I'm just thinking of everybody who's gone. It's gone through so many that it's just you just try and keep up. But guys, thank you so much. Please, of course, guys, check out again Singapore to Rugby, the documentary series, available now. Also, check out Rugby Outlet Mall, 20% off for all Grow Rugby podcast listener. Use coupon code GREAUX, GREAUX Rugby. And of course, you guys continue to have a happy, healthy, and highly favored day. Until next time, cheers.